Today, we have launched a new product, and it is the first time ever in Amway. We are launching GI kind of a rice, and this product is going to be an amazing product. And we are going to get an excellent download from the experts. And we have two persons who have joined with us today. And both of them are, one person is from Amway HO, heading marketing of this product. And we have Dr. Priyanka, who has joined with us. You would have seen Dr. Priyanka in a lot of Team Nutralite program sessions. So with the thunderous applause, I would like to invite Vinay, HO Marketing, and he's a person who has done the entire show of launching this product and the man behind this product. And I welcome Vinay, and over to you, Vinay.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thanks a lot for joining. It's already late in the evening, and I think it's probably your dinner time, and you might already be thinking about rice, right? So just hold on for a moment, because from tomorrow onwards, I think you'll be buying a new rice pack. That's for sure, because that's something we have today for us. Allow me to share my screen as well. Just give me a moment. Low GI white rice. So again, welcome to 2023, and what a way to start. The first launch of the year is already here, and this is one of the most coveted launch. The reason is you all have been asking for it. We have been receiving so many requests from so many our ABOs that we were thinking how we were on a hunt. We were literally on a hunt to find that perfect price, which is going to be a game changer. And today's rice is exactly what it is. It's a game changer. Like we all know, Amway is always listening. It listened to you. It's got something which is, you can sell it across homes. You can make your life as well as the life of your customers much, much, much better with this special rice, because it's not your ordinary rice that, hey, we got a rice, why don't you eat our rice? No, there's a story behind. There's a beautiful story behind it, outstanding story behind it, and exactly that's what we are gonna unravel today with me and with Dr. Priyanka Rohatgi. So before we move on to what the product all about is, I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and I want you all to raise your hand if you said yes to any of those problems. Because at the end of the day, every product that we launch is there to solve some or the other problems. So raise your hand if you are on your weight management journey, trying to lose weight, or maybe just maintaining weight, and you love rice, but maybe your nutritionist, maybe you yourself, or maybe all the 1,000 people in the world have said, hey, you are on a weight management journey. Why are you still eating rice? But you love rice. So are you one of those? I see a lot of people raising hand. Now, if by any chance you are suffering from diabetes, or you want to maintain your blood sugar levels, you are, maybe for some hereditary reasons, you really want to eat food which does not, hamper or which does not increase your blood sugar levels. So are you one of those? I again want people to raise hand. So I guess we have enough people raising hand for this as well. Then, just because of a lot of marketing and a lot of people, giving you a fear of missing out and saying, hey, I have switched to brown rice, it's healthy. But are you one of those as well who switched to brown rice, supposedly for a healthier living, but you just hate its taste? And like me, so I'm from North, but I love eating rice. But the problem with me is that I feel hungry just after 1.5 or maybe 1 hour of eating rice. So are you one of those? If yes, raise your hand. Last but not the least, like me, working from 9 to 6, I hesitate to bring rice, even though I love it, to my lunch, because I feel sleepy after having a full rice meal, a full dal and rice meal. Are you one of those? Raise your hand. And like I could see so many people raising their hands in at least one of the questions. If you said yes to any of the questions, there's something very important we must know today, the term glycemic index, the term glycemic index, which you're going to, which you have probably heard of many times if you have diabetes, or if if you're very passionate about getting that perfect, good body, or just trying on your way to lose weight. If you said yes to any of the questions above, you better know this term, the glycemic index. And now I invite Dr. Priyanka Rohatgi, the Chief Clinical Dietitian and Head, Apollo Hospitals, Bangalore. Ma'am, grand welcome to you. And please, let's have you on the floor.
Thank you so much. And I'm so excited to be among all of you today. And it's overwhelming to see that at this point of time, we have such excellent participation from all our viewers. So we definitely will not disappoint you. And it is dinner time, so we should give you some good news related to food. Now, Mr. Vinay did tell us about quite a few guilt parameters that we sometimes have. As educated customers, what we need to know is we don't have to get carried away from what people say. We have to get the facts and the science right of any product, be it the products that you want to use for yourself, or be it the food that you want to eat for yourself. So that's something which is very, very important. Now let's understand, why do we all eat food? We eat food to have certain parameters of wellness, to satisfy ourselves. We all have a certain craving for few foods, and food is also one of the biggest preventive health parameters. So we've heard the saying that, let food be thy medicine rather than medicine being thy food. So Hippocrates says this, and this really is very true, because if we choose our food very sensibly, we can make a lot of changes and prevent problems like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, so on and so forth. Moving forward, let's understand what our diet is composed of. So diet has two major nutrients into it. One is depending on the amount of requirements that particular nutrient has. So we label them as macronutrients. As the word says, macro means in larger quantities. So these are required in grams, and we use them as a major chunk of our food. So these would be our carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Fats are also called as lipids. And these are the basic source of energy in our body. These are the foods which are important for us to grow, for the repair, for the wear and tear, and everything on a daily basis. And then comes the micronutrients, which are responsible for basically taking care of our immunity, taking care of our overall health, and thereby these are called as the protective foods. And as the name suggests, that micronutrients are required in tiny quantities. So the term micro, the requirement is in terms of milligrams or micrograms, but they are very, very important, and we should never miss out on these ingredients or nutrients. Now, why is carbohydrate the most talked about nutrient? People have really abused and spoken so many things about carbohydrate, but we need to know the facts correctly. Carbohydrate is one of the most important nutrients in our diet, and we should never give up carbohydrate, because that's the basic source of energy. That's the source of energy on which our good bacteria in the intestines thrive. So it's very important to have a good understanding of what carbohydrates are good for us. Now, we heard a term called glycemic index. This term is made up of three words: glycemic and index. So gly means glucose, imic means in the blood, and index means a parameter. So the glucose level in the blood as a benchmark or as a parameter. What produces glucose in the body? The food that we eat has carbohydrates. All the carbohydrates simplifies into smaller nutrients and gives us something as the basic unit of carbohydrate called glucose. This glucose, when taken into the body, gets absorbed into the blood after eating the food. When we measure that reading, that is called as the glycemic index. Now, glycemic index of each and every food is different. So if I eat a fruit versus a candy versus a chocolate versus a glass of milk, everything has a different glycemic index. So let's look at how should we plan our diet based on this understanding of glycemic index. Have you all seen this parameter or this small glucometer? All of us must have in our friends, family, or hospitals or health checks when we've gone for. So we take a small blood drop on the strip of the glucometer, and that gives us a reading. And then we get, worried about whether this reading is high or is it low. Sometimes we are told it's very high, you need to control your sugar. What is this reading all about? So whatever food we have eaten, this reading tells us after 2 hours, what would be the production of glucose in our blood after eating that specific food. Some of us try to be really smart. When we know we are going for a health check, we give up eating a lot of sweets, we give up eating a lot of for that particular meal so that the next day's readings are correct. Why do we have to make such compromises? We need to understand that if we understand the science of the food correctly, we can actually enjoy and relish our food, at the same time maintain good blood sugar. This is not just only for diabetics, because glycemic index is produced in everybody's body after eating food. Now, glucose is like cocaine. You've heard of cocaine, right? So cocaine is very addictive in nature. Similarly, when we eat a lot of glucose producing food, simple sugars or a lot of fruits, candies, chocolates, or foods which are rich or high in glycemic index, they tend to produce a very high surge of glucose in the blood, which leads to production of insulin, and there starts the insulin surge. So when we eat foods which produce a lot of glucose, suddenly our blood sugar goes very high. And the speed at which it goes high, it comes down at the same rapid speed. And what happens is, we have a very high sugar for a short duration, it comes down, and then we are left hungry again, and then we are looking for something to eat. So this is what determines the glycemic index of the food. As we were talking about, we can see in the graph itself that how the composition of the food determines how much sugar will be released in the blood. And depending on the glucose that is released, it will rapidly taper down and bring it down to a level which is low. So such fluctuations are not good for our body, because they give us, a sudden spike, bring us down and give us low sugar. People who are not diabetic, they would think that I don't have to really worry about anything. I can eat as many chocolates or as many high glycemic index foods as I want. But this kind of a trend is harmful for them as well. You eat food which increases your sugar, excess sugar sensitizes insulin to be produced more, that leads to fat formation, and then you are causing a constant change in your body composition, which is going to impact your overall health. A high sugar, which can be managed by a normal person, not a diabetic, will lead to high triglycerides. So these again are not good for health. So understanding of glycemic index, using it sensibly in our diet is good for everybody to prevent all kinds of non-communicable or chronic diseases like diabetes, heart diseases, high blood pressure, central obesity, etc. Depending on the glycemic index, we have categorized the foods into 3 categories. This is a standard classification which is accepted across the globe. The foods which range from a reading of 70 to 100 are called the high glycemic index foods. Foods which range between 55 to 70 are called intermediate, and foods below 55 are called low glycemic index foods. The lower the glycemic index, the longer or the sustained effects they will have. We will feel satiated for a longer time. We will be energetic throughout, and we will never have spikes of sugar, as we understood that it was quite harmful for the body. Now let's have a look at the different food groups that we use. So we all know that the culprit is somewhere the cereals that we eat. The carbohydrate majorly comes from them, but they're not all bad. What we need to do is choose sensibly. If we eat a white rice, it has a glycemic index of 100, which means that just eating one slice will spike up your sugar by 100 after 2 hours. So you have to be very careful. And God forbidden, if you choose to eat a bread butter jam, where you take 2 slices with butter, with jam, sky is the limit for the sugar. Then you choose a whole wheat bread, which has a glycemic index of 74. If you look at rice, which is one of our favorites in every meal as a staple to the Indian diet, the glycemic index is 73, which is slightly on the higher side. So, okay, if we make a compromise and we choose to pick up brown rice. Not all of us can cook brown rice. Not all of us relish the taste of brown rice. So if we wish to go on a little lower glycemic index, we move to chapatis. But in South, we have seen not everybody is very accustomed to eating chapatis. So somewhere we have to plan around the glycemic index of our cereals. Looking at vegetables and fruits, predominantly they are not very high on their GI. Apart from some fruits which have a high fructose level, they tend to have a high GI, like your watermelon or your banana or mangoes. And these are fruits which are generally restricted if you have uncontrolled sugar. Dairy products are good until and unless you add sugar to them and make an ice cream out of it. Or if you take your nuts or beans or pulses or your dal, they're also fairly good in maintaining your glycemic index. So why do we have to really worry? Now, if I choose foods which are high glycemic index on a daily basis, which means I eat a lot of white rice, along with fruits of my choice, along with some sugar, along with some, foods which are on a high glycemic index tables, I tend to have more fat formation. I tend to have more obesity. And we are seeing that many people are battling this as a common public health problem. And we barely find people who are normal BMI. This has directly correlated to the risk of a lot of lifestyle diseases like heart diseases, diabetes, high cholesterol, and we are unfortunately seeing a lot of young people struggling from these problems and having complications at a very early stage. So what should be done? We need to choose foods which are not very high on glycemic index so that we don't have these spikes and sudden, let down of the blood sugar. We need to have a sustained release of sugar so that we are energetic, we are not sleepy, and we do not crash suddenly. At the same time, we are able to maintain our body weight correctly, and we don't have unhealthy cravings and hunger pangs. Now, sitting at the office at 3 o'clock, if you're really hungry, you have very limited choices, and you end up ordering unhealthy food from outside. But if you choose your lunch correctly, which keeps you full till about 5:36, by the time you can leave office, reach home by 7, and you could pick up something healthy for yourself. So GI is a very important parameter to maintain good health, and low GI selections can actually give you a sustained release of energy, keep you energetic and disease-free throughout the life. Low GI foods, there are ample and more studies. If you actually Google and see, you would find that low GI foods are actually known to have a long, healthy longevity of life. They tend to control our blood sugars, blood cholesterol, blood triglycerides, and maintain a normal body weight. And studies have clearly shown that such people have very good quality of life vis-a-vis people who eat a lot of high GI foods because their insulin metabolism, the insulin resistance, diabetes, sugar control is much impaired. So what do we really have to do? If I am a diabetic or not, I really have to make sure that I pick up foods which are moderate to low GI so that it helps me in preventing development of diabetes or pre-diabetes. All of us undergo some kinds of health checks, and in the health check, you would have seen a reading called glycosylated hemoglobin or HbA1c. This actually tells you when and how you would become a diabetic. So if we can predict our own health, why not make use of it and prevent the disease? This is basically an element of hemoglobin, the A1 element of hemoglobin, which has glucose attached to it. And as we know, for the last 3 months, as the cycle of a red blood cell, we would be able to check how much is our sugar control. So if the reading is in between 5.7 to 6.4, you're already a pre-diabetic. So by making sensible choices, you can actually prevent the onset of diabetes. Now, these are the different cereals that we use. Even if we wish to move to healthier choices, we have known in the past that rice is a high glycemic index food compared to the other cereals that are available or the millets available. But all of us do not relish eating only millets. So is there any alternative available? Are there ways by which we could choose rice which could make our food not high on GI and yet give us the satisfaction of eating what we are regionally and traditionally accustomed to eating. If we look at this white rice, it is 73 GI and it tends to digest very fast because the peak goes up and comes down immediately, so sustained release is not there. In other words, we would feel hungry faster, we would look for more options, so we need to choose some kind of cereal in our lunch, dinner and breakfast, which is not suddenly giving us that spike and bringing it down. We need something which is sustained release so that we are not hungry very frequently, we are not loaded with a lot of sugar suddenly, and we can actually maintain our energy levels. At the same time, we are not worried about weight gain. And when we check our monitor reading on the glucometer, we do not have the sudden surprises of 200 and 400 kinds of reading. Diabetes is a concern which is increasing in India, and by 2045, it is predicted that India would be the diabetes capital of the world. This is a concerning data, and we need to work towards preventing diabetes in all of us, in our near and dear ones, and in our friends. So what we need to do is eat sensibly. Not that people have not made an attempt towards it. In the last 30, 40, 50 years, people have tried to do different kinds of things. But we tried moving to millet. We tried choosing hand pound or brown rice or red rice or Kerala rice, undermilled rice, parboiled rice. But still, science has shown that enough and more prevalence of diabetes has been seen, not just in the urban areas, but also in the villages. And this is an underestimation because there are many people who are still in a denial, who haven't got themselves screened for diabetes. So what we need to understand is that if we are eating white polished rice, which most of us do, it is contributing to the diabetes epidemic. And the risk can go on as high as 11% just by one extra serving of white rice. Sometimes we do that. We like the biryani or we like the rasam sambar. So we tend to take an extra helping. We'll have a small helping for the sambar, then for the rasam, and then for the curd rice. So this tends to overall increase our risk by 11%. And the incidence has shown to be double with the portions of rice getting increased in our plate. So should we actually stop eating rice? Well, being a capital where we are producing so much of rice, and especially in the south, in the east, in the northwest, we consume a lot of rice. That is something we love eating. So do we have any solution around there? Let's hear it from our experts who are giving us the goodness of nature in a surprise form. Over to Vinay.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot for the great explanation. I think a peculiar concept like glycemic index is now pretty much clear to everyone over here. So like the question in the slide suggests, should we stop eating the rice? I asked you 5 questions in the starting, and I think everybody raised some or the, everybody almost raised their hand at some or the other question. Now, I'm asking a question. Who is now willing to stop rice? Because now we know white rice is bad. We know that it is a high glycemic index. It's bad for people trying to lose weight. It's bad for people who have diabetes. Now, who in this meeting is now willing to give rice and never ever eat it? Is there anybody who can raise hand now? So, well, I can't because I'm very fond of rice. So what is the solution? And while we, before we come to it, just allow me a moment so that I can share my screen and I'll take you through the marvelous product that we have that's definitely going to solve so many problems in one go. So just give me a moment, please.
Yes, Vinay.
Yeah. So now we present you the BFACT low glycemic index white rice, the first launch of 2023 for Amway. And this is something, like it's previously said, all of you have been asking, get us a rice, because that is something which probably almost everybody in India at least eats maybe once a week, or maybe at least twice a week, or at least once in a time. That this is when I'm talking about the North and the West India, but I'm pretty sure that in South, we almost eat it every day. And this is not your regular rice. this rice is a beautiful story, and it is a much, and I cannot emphasize how much healthier it is when it comes to, as compared to your regular white rice that we have been eating since decades, since first time we had rice. And the best part about it, it tastes exactly like your white rice. You are not going to compromise when it comes to the taste buds. So the speciality of this rice, the best thing about this rice, the main claim, the main USP of this rice is that it has only a glycemic index of 52, which is 29% less than the glycemic index of your regular rice. So as we saw in the previous slides, that any food item which has a glycemic index below 55 is considered a low glycemic index food and is much healthier for people who are trying to manage their weight, who have diabetes issues. And in the left, you can see the glycemic index of almost every staple that you eat. Whole wheat bread, 74, high glycemic index, bad for people who are managing their weight or diabetes. Regular white rice, 73, again, as bad. Maida, well, I don't even have to talk about maida. We all know how bad it is because of its simple carb structure and that it has been refined of every good thing. But if you were wondering that 60, your brown rice or in fact your wheat roti is a very good option when it comes to a food which has a very low glycemic index, or which might not be causing so much spike in your blood sugar level, or might be deferring you from your weight management goals, and probably even these two are not the best options that you have. But if you love rice, this is what you've got: low glycemic index, 52, B fat, low GI white rice, which is as tasty as your everyday rice. Now, what is the science behind the impossible? Because it really happens that we bring the culmination of taste as well as health in a single product. Every time you try to choose something tasty, it does not really is good for you. And every time you go for something healthy, it's not really that tasty. It's not sustainable. The problem is sustainability. You cannot sustain with food which does not taste good. You cannot kill your taste buds every day. So the science behind the impossible of this product is that it has been actually developed in the universities and the farmlands of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. To be more precise, this rice has been developed by Agricultural University, State University of Telangana. It's not your any ordinary rice which is being grown anywhere and does not require any expertise. This rice was researched and developed through years of research. In fact, it was developed. And going deeper into it, it's actually because you still might be wondering what research was done so that this rice actually does not even compromise when it comes to health and when it comes to taste. So this slide is the answer. This rice is a crossbreed between two distinct varieties of rice. One is the Japanese rice, and the second is your Sona Masuri rice. So Japanese rice gives it a low glycemic index. Now, close your eyes, try to imagine Japan, Japanese people. I'm pretty sure you're imagining everyone as healthy, everyone as fit, and they eat rice every day. They don't eat chapatis. They almost eat rice in all their meals, and still they are fit, they are healthy. The prevalence of diabetes is so low in Japan, and there are so many islands in Japan that have average age of people over 100. There's so many places. Now, there are n number of factors contributing to such good health and fitness, but definitely we all know dietary habits plays a very important part, and their dietary habits include a lot of rice, but includes good rice, low glycemic index rice. So we took the Telangana University took that Japanese rice for its low glycemic index properties, and it took Sona Masuri rice, which is your regular rice available in India, white rice available in India, and the crossbreeding was done. And what we have is now a B-fat, low glycemic index rice, which does not compromise on taste and does not compromise on health. Now I'm going to give you not one, not two, 9 reasons why you should be eating B-fat, low GI white rice from tomorrow. because I think in all of the homes the dinner might have been made today, and delivery speeds might not be fast. But from tomorrow onwards, I think you have these 9 reasons why you should be switching to BFAC low GI white rice. And the first reason is the clinically tested in managing blood sugar levels. Now we know how low glycemic index food helps you in managing blood sugar level. BFAC rice glycemic index is 52. So it's pure and simple that it's really good for people who have diabetes. But the story does not end over there. Since it was developed by the university, they just not just create it, they tested it to prove it. So our research was done where 80 diabetes people were selected, 40 were put on a diet of their regular rice, and 40 were put on a diet of BFAC low GI rice for 3 months. And after 3 months, the study concluded that the people who were regularly consuming BFAC low glycemic index white rice, they had a significant decrease in their fasting blood glucose level. So it has been clinically proven. It's not that it's just low glycemic index, so that's why it is. It is being clinically tested in managing blood sugar level. So if you are someone who is diabetic, or if you're someone who has some hereditary issues and when it comes to the diabetes, I think this rice is really, really great for those people. Really great. It's a boon for those people, because the moment you had gone to your doctor when it comes to, talked about the diabetes, the first thing he might have asked you is to stop rice. And additionally, he might have also asked you to stop eating certain fruits, such as watermelon. But he never told you that you cannot eat any food. The reason is, again, it's not really about the food, it's all about the glycemic index. You can probably eat the foods which are low glycemic index, such as your guava and pear, but anything which has a high glycemic index, which is must sweet, such as banana, doctors would advise you against from it. And similarly, doctors have advised you against rice as well. But of course, when it comes to the food which are low glycemic index 52, they do not really cause that irregular sugar spike in your blood levels. They give you a much flatter response in your blood sugar levels, so it does not spike up. So this is the reason why GI food works better for people with diabetes. And this one is not only GI, but clinically tested as well. Second point, we saw in the previous slides, you eat rice at 1 p.m. and you get a lot of energy, because that's how the glycemic index food works, which are high, which have a high glycemic index. They give you enough energy, a sudden boost of energy. So you feel energetic, but within few minutes, within half an hour or so, it all comes crashing down. And when it comes crashing down, what you feel hungry again. And like ma'am very beautifully explained, that 3 p.m., 4 p.m., you don't really have a choice, okay, to order the healthiest food possible. We end up making wrong decisions. We end up eating junk foods. And this is why we are not able to, continue in our weight loss, weight management journey in a sustainable way. Like I said, the word is sustainable. Have foods in your plate which you can eat every day and still lose weight. Do not fall into a fad. So when you when you incorporate this BFAC low GI food, BFAC low GI white rice in your diet, I think it's going to really help you in managing your weight loss or weight management journey. The third point, now you don't have to worry or, think twice before taking rice into the lunch, because this one, like we have seen previously, it provides glucose, it provides energy in a very sustainable way. It does not give a sudden spike. It gives a much flatter glucose response in you. It evokes a much flatter glucose response in your body. So whatever energy you receive, it is sustained. It does not come crashing down. So no more feeling sleepy after the rice meal, and you stay active even when you just had lunch. So the 3 points, and now coming to the 4 point, if anybody still has any confusion about how it tastes, it's not your red rice, it's not your brown rice, it's not black, yellow, blue rice. It tastes exactly like the rice you eat every day, which is your regular white rice. So if you're worried about if you have been compromising on your taste buds, I think this is a right time to switch and try the BFAC low GI white rice. And now we have been in this presentation, we've been talking about the diabetes and the weight management people, but of course, not all of your customers are into that, right? You will meet a lot of people who are fit. You will meet a lot of people who are diabetic. So it's not really that only these people can consume rice. as long as you are healthy, as long as you are you love rice, you can switch to BFAC low GI white rice. The reason is having foods which are low GI, which have low GI, ultimately help your health in long term. They might help you in protecting you from diabetes. So incorporating low GI food, not only just BFAC low GI white rice, the other foods which have a low glycemic index, you should also be incorporating that in your on your plate. Fifth, sixth point, it's much healthier than your brown rice and your white rice. In fact, your chapati, wheat roti, in fact, your wheat whole wheat brown bread, it's much healthier than all of these products when it comes to the glycemic index. Seventh, it's non-GMO. So if you for a moment got confused that it was supposedly crossbred, but now it's non-GMO. So let me clarify you. Crossbreeding is basically just a mating of two different species or two different plants. So in this case, the mating was done as between the Japanese rice and the Sona Masuri rice, and the kid that you have is the BFAC low GI white rice. Whereas the GMO is when you take a single species and you alter their genes, alter their existing genes through some scientific or man-made techniques. When you alter their genes, that is called as genetically modified organism. It can be plant, it can be species. So it's non-GMO. Please do not confuse crossbreeding with non-GMO. Eighth, it's free from pesticide. And I think this is definitely pesticide is one of our top worries when we are eating food, whether it is pesticide free or not. So this one guaranteed pesticide free. Ninth, this rice is actually available in US, Europe, and Middle East as well because of its demand and because of how diabetes has been rising across the world. And therefore, this is the BFAC company is an FDA registered company. So you can be pretty much sure about the quality and their processes and everything. So I've given you 9 reasons why you should switch to BFAC low GI white rice today. And if you're wondering that there is any specific mechanism to cook this rice, well, there is, and that is called just how you cook your regular white rice. So there is no specific mechanism. You can cook just like your regular white rice. Now coming to the launch schedule and the launch pricing. So it's a 4.5 kg pack, MRP 720, price is 550. And the catch is on the e-commerce websites, you will find this and the similar product at 650, 666. So Amway is giving you a much better price than what you would find anywhere right now, at least as of today. And so that you can approach your customers and, give them this gift of health. It's 25% NSV, 121, but the points are full, 5.67 kg. And it's available for all the platinum and east to south today with a rationing of 1 from 3rd Feb onwards. It's going to be open for all the ABOs and PCs of South as well. So make your purchase, switch to BFAC low GI white rice today. I think this is more or less from our side. Now we can take any questions if anybody has.
Are there? There's a question whether yeah, am I audible?
Yes, and your questions are
You are audible. Helen, you are audible.
Yeah. Is doctor taking it up? Or
this question whether
Yes, I'm here. Please tell me.
yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Helen, you are audible.
You have a question for me?
Is doctor taking it up?
We both are taking the questions. You can ask anyone, Helen.
yeah. So the first thing is it non-GMO? Anything about the GMO content they are asking?
Yeah, it's non-GMO. It's crossbreed and it's non-GMO. So crossbreeding is not, genetically modifying. Crossbreeding is basically making of.
Is it non-GMO? Anything about the GMO content?
Is it suitable for children?
Yeah, it's not. It's cross. Why am I having so much of echo?
I think somebody has put the YouTube link on.
Yeah.
So there's a delayed telecast.
I'm not. There's a lot of noise, Helen.
Why am I not getting the thought?
I think somebody has put the YouTube link on.
Yeah.
There's a delayed.
What is the portion size that can be consumed per day or a meal?
So that's the regular portion size that you have of your regular rice. You can eat that much.
Is it a raw rice or boiled rice?
It's a steamed rice.
Consumed per day or a meal.
So that's the regular portion size that you have of your regular rice.
Do we have any trade discount in this product?
Yeah, 8%.
Is it a raw rice or boiled rice?
It's a steamed rice.
Or a meal?
So that's the regular portion size that you have.
Do we have any trade discount in this product?
8%.
Is it a raw rice or boiled rice?
So can be this used for any other preparations like in South we use idli, dosa and all that stuff. Can be that used?
Yeah, I think you should be able to make dosas
So
and
can be
this rice.
this
You can
used
definitely
for
try
any
it
other
once.
preparations like in
Recording stopped.
idli, dosa and all that stuff? Can be that used?
Yeah, I think
Helen, why it's everything is echoing?
There's
I
a
think,
YouTube thing that is getting
can you
live.
just like turn off the volume of that?
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying.
Helen, why it's everything is echoing?
There's a YouTube thing that is getting
Can you
live.
just turn off?
Is it a limited SKU, Vinay, or is it
No,
going to
no.
be available for the whole
It's
year?
going to available, but it's going to be available for throughout the year.
Okay.
So it's not that
How-
I want to stop selling it. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
What is the shelf life of this 5 kg bag?
So the shelf life, of course, since it's a food product, we need to mention the shelf life. That's 24 months.
Okay. How long should we soak before using it or cooking this rice?
There is just allow me a moment. I can read the cooking instructions if you want, but I think that there is no specific way that you need to change your cooking mechanism to cook this rice. You can cook it exactly the way you are continuing to cook your regular rice. So there is no specific mechanism that you have to boil it for this time or do it for that time.
Okay.
Cook it like your regular rice. Okay.
So do we have any other nutrients included in this rice or?
So
What-
the regular nutrients of that you have in rice, there is magnesium, there is carbs, so the regular nutrients. It's not that we have added some added vitamins or minerals to it. It's not like that.
From when are we going to get it like open to all
Third Feb.
north and
So right now it's for south and east. For north and west, we'll get back to you.
okay. So what is the percentage of fiber in this rice, the fiber quantity?
You'll have to allow me a moment. I have to check the nutrition label, but the fiber content, I think I'll have to get back to you. It's on the fiber content.
What is the GI percentage of this rice? That's another question they've asked.
It's 70, it's 52.
Should we, on a consistent manner, we should get adapted to this rice, or can we have it on and off?
I mean, it's better if you have it every day. It's a healthy one. It's a healthy rice. Rest on, of course, you.
Okay, they've asked a question here. Is it affordable, kinda? So I guess you should put it
Yeah,
up,
we have shared the pricing at rupees 550, inclusive
Yeah.
of taxes for EPS.
because the other online platforms are selling it at a higher price. So of course it is much competitively it is
Yeah.
economical.
I think I also have some few questions. Now I'm gonna
Yeah.
answer that. Can we get 25 kg packs? Well, not right now, but if you make it a success, why not? We can try. How it is different from BFAC diabetic rice? It's the same brand, same product. So it's just that you are getting other business benefits as well as a much lower price. Is it patented or is there any competitors? So there are a few brands which do have glycemic low glycemic index story, but they have not been very clear in how much of a glycemic index they have. Plus, they're also quite costly. That's what I have seen. 8% is trade discount. Our Indian basmati rice is 52. No, sir, no. It's the regular white rice GI is 73. Most of the brands do not mention any glycemic index on their label because all of them have a high glycemic index. Did any Indian agriculture universities do the testing on this rice? So yeah, like I said, it has been clinically tested to manage blood sugar level. 80 diabetic patients were put in this trial. 40 were given normal rice, 40 were given BFAC low GI white rice, and the people who were consuming BFAC low GI white rice, after 3 months, their fasting blood glucose level was far significantly lower. And Indian way of lowering glycemic index has always been adding dal or sambar with the rice. How does lowering the glycemic index of the rice itself? How does the lowering the glycemic index of the rice itself add value? Because ultimately if you're eating a lot of rice, right? So there's a high chance that the glucose level might get really high. But if you're always eating a low GI rice, right? It's not going to be a problem at all. There's a reason why diabetes people are asked to switch or abstain completely from rice. That's exactly the reason. While everybody in the world has, at least in India, has rice with either dal or something, but the glycemic index still plays an important part. And that's the reason why we have launched a low glycemic index. So you don't have to worry about at least this part. All age groups can have this rice. I think cost I've already shared. Is there only one bag size 4.5 kg? Right now, there's only one bag size, but of course, from 35 onwards, you can order 10 bags if you want. It will be open for all the ABOs and PC. Low GI means low energy. Then how can we get energy? Ma'am, Priyanka ma'am, would you like to explain that?
Low GI doesn't mean low energy. Low GI means sustained energy. So it's like rather than having a fruit juice, you are having a bowl of fruit. So the fiber is intact. The energy goes through rather than just going as a spike and then coming down rapidly. So low GI is definitely a sustained energy and not low energy.
Children,
If you look at the rice, any rice for that
Recording
matter,
in progress.
you would not find a rice which is low calorie. But yes, you can get a rice which is high GI or low GI. So the release of energy can be sustained or sudden spike of sugars.
I think one of the most prominent question over here is fiber content. So it has a regular fiber levels of your white rice. I will get back with the exact value. Is it directly manufactured from Amway or any third-party company? So as you see in the Essentials brand that we have, we usually partner with we usually collaborate with third-party brand to bring you some very unique and great value products. And we give you them with some business benefits as well as at a much affordable price than they are available in the market. So this is under the Essentials by Amway, previously known as Catalog. It's with our it's with a third party. That the company is known as BFAC. What is normal or healthy GI percentage? So in terms of index, anything which is low GI below 52 is a good glycemic index. And I think that's more or less. Is there any other question? What is DBAC? It is BFAC and not DBAC. And this is the brand of the rice. This is the original company's name. BFAC. GI. So is this brand only available for Amway? At this moment, this brand is also available outside Amway, but at a much costlier price. Much costlier price. And without any business benefits as well. Anything else, Helen? Is there any
That's it, Vinay. The questions are just getting repeated.
Okay.
Doctor, there's a question for you. In case a person is diabetic, how long can we see by consuming this rice? How long can we see this blood sugar level coming down or getting to normal range?
You can actually see it immediately if you're checking your blood sugar from the glucometer. If you're doing the HbA1c, in 3 months, you will definitely see a significant result. But on a daily basis also, like if you've had a low GI rice vis-a-vis a normal rice, you would find your postprandial sugars immediately impacted. So it's a immediate change that you can see.
To add on to ma'am point, while we, as Amway, we generally are not going to ask you for any intrusive method, but yes, this is how it exactly works. This is how the company sells the rice, that people check their glucose level just after eating it, and totally depends. I mean, you cannot expect it that if you're eating a lot of banana and everything, it's going to make a difference. But if yesterday you ate normal dal rice, sambar rice, and you check your glucose level yesterday, and today you eat sambar and beef low GI white rice, and you check your glucose level, I think you're going to be really, really happy.
Vinay, one more question. Should the starch be removed, or can we consume it with the starch?
You can consume it just like your regular white rice.
Okay.
And
I guess the questions are over.
Yeah.
So thank you, Vinay, and thank you, Doctor, for the wonderful session, and thank you all. And we would expect a very quick TNA of this product, and we should ask Vinay to send more to South. And I guess in another few more days, we should make this product completely TNA. So we will have a lot of sessions, your state-wise, and we can take this information furthermore to your team. So thank you, Vinay, and thank you, Doctor, for the wonderful session.
Thanks
a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot, Dr. Priyanka, for your time. And thanks a lot, everyone, for joining.